Greetings everybody, this is Emily from Pages in Ink and today is New Year's Eve. So that means that today's video is going to be the top 10 most anticipated books being released in 2016. So most of the books that are on my list are sequels to books that are already out. So with those, I'm basically just going to say how excited I am and what I liked about the first one and what I hope to see in the second one. And there's not going to be any spoilers, so don't worry. No spoilers. If I catch myself starting to say something, I will stop, because I'm not going to spoil anything for any of these. But if it's like the first book in a series, I will tell you as much about it that I know about it. So, yeah. I actually have 11 books on my list, and the 11th one is just going to be considered an honorable mention. I'm also going to link the Goodreads pages down below, as well as the release dates, because off the top of my head, the only release date I know is the very first, like the #1 book on my list. So, yeah, if you're interested in hearing more about any of these, if you've read any of them and want to know more about the sequel, then you can go and check it out without me having to ruin it for everybody else. So let's start out with my number 11 book, which is Frost Like Night by Sarah Rash. That's the third book in the Snow Like Ashes series. I have not yet read Ice Like Fire, so I can't say too much about Frost Like Night because I don't know what happens in Ice Like Fire. So I'm just gonna move on now from that. Next is number 10, obviously, and that is the sequel to Six of Crows called Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, which I'm excited for, even though this was just okay and not something that I was really into, because there are parts where it's slow and I talk about in other videos, so I'm not going to go into depth with it. But I am really excited because I'm hoping this will be one of those series where when I get to like the final book, or as it continues, I get more into it, because I was kind of okay with the Legend series up until I read Champion, and I wanted to read it again so much that I asked for the book box set for Christmas, and I got it, so it's sitting right next to me. But, so I'm hoping it's going to be like that, and I am really excited. It was still a good book. I do recommend it, but if you want to know my recommendations based off of the books I read this year, then you can just go and watch my top 10 video, which I will also link below. So I'm going to stick that over there. Alright, so number 9, the 9th book on my list, is the second book, the sequel book to The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Adhay, which the next book is called The Rose and the Dagger. And this book I really enjoyed, and I don't really know what it is because I'm not a very big romance reader. But I really enjoyed this book. It's just something that really stuck with me for some reason. And I'm really excited for The Rose and the Dagger to see what happens next. And yes, so, The Wrath and Dawn. The 8th book I have on my list is A Torch Against the Night, which is the next book in the An Ember in the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir, which I am really excited for because the twist at the end really made me want to read the next one, because I needed to know what happened to everybody after the events of the end of the book. So I'm super excited for that. I really need it so I can see what happens. This is one of those books that I didn't really like. Well, I did like, but not like love it. And then as it got toward the end, I really started to enjoy it a little more. And then after I read it, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this book. And I had time to dwell on it, and I found out that I really loved it. So I'm so excited for A Torch Against the Night. Then the next one I have, I actually had to pull the whole series down because it is probably, I believe, it is the final book in this series. And I am so excited and so sad that the end is coming for this series, and that is the Raven Cycle series by Maggie Stiefvater, and the 4th and final book is The Raven King. And I'm so excited because the series is fantastic, and I don't want it to end, but I know it needs to. And you know, the thing that's gonna happen, that is going to happen, that all the readers has known is going to happen all along, and we've all hoped that it wasn't going to happen. Maggie Stiefvater has confirmed that it's happening. So I just need to know how it ends so I can just get the pain over with. But the series is excellent, and I really think you guys should pick it up. The next book I have to talk about, the 6th book, I don't actually have because it is the first book in a new series by Marissa Meyer, who wrote the Lunar Chronicles series, the sci-fi series following Cinderella, like a retelling of Cinderella, Snow White, but not in that order, Red Riding Hood, and Rapunzel. So I am super excited because it's called Heartless, and it, from what I gather, is a Alice in Wonderland retelling. So I am very, very excited for this series because I'm excited. Marissa Meyer is a wonderful storyteller, especially with fairy tale retellings. I love the Lunar Chronicles series, and I can't wait to read Heartless. The next book I have is book 5, and that is the sequel to my top 5, or my top 10, the number 1, okay, good. The number 1 book on my top 10 favorite reads of 2015, and that is the sequel to Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. And the sequel is called Glass Sword. And I'm so excited. I needed it the moment I finished this book, and I had to wait a year for it to come out, and I'm so excited for it. I need it now. I also have the novella, one of the 2 novellas that has been released by Victoria Aveyard that's a part of this, and I haven't read it yet because my boyfriend has my Nook and I have a whole bunch of other stuff to read. So I'm excited to read that too, but that's not the sequel that I'm talking about. Then I have the very first book in another series. This one is the first book in the Dark Artifice series by Cassandra Clare, who wrote the Infernal Devices series, the Mortal Instruments series, and the Bane Chronicles, and a bunch of other stuff that's all within the same universe. Like, this woman, in my opinion, is fantastic because she has stretched out this one story into different series. Like, it's the same universe, it's the same stuff, but there's different tales to be told in this universe, and I think it's fantastic. I don't know very many series like that. So I'm super excited for Lady Midnight. Lady Midnight takes place, I believe, in like today times, from what I remember her saying, following the story of Emma Carstairs and Julian Blackthorne and their crew, I believe in Los Angeles. And we see Emma Carstairs and Julian Blackthorne at the end of City of Heavenly Fire, so I'm so excited to see how they are now that they're more grown up, and just to see how wonderfully badass Emma Carstairs is, because she rocked it in City of Heavenly Fire, and she was young, so I'm excited. Book number 3 is the next book in a series written by one of my favorite authors, and I have read 3 out of 4 of the already released series that she has, and that sequel to this series is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I am so excited because the way that this ended, I really need to know what happens. Because it's not necessarily that it ended on like a cliffhanger or a plot twist. It just kind of, it seemed to be like the beginning of the end. Or the end of the beginning or something like that. Like, the way it ended sparked a beginning of the next book, in a way. And I'm really excited to see how that turns out because I need to. The second book on my top 10 most anticipated list is the 5th book in a series that's already going on, and this is, I believe, the second to last book in this series. And that is Throne of Glass Book 5, which I don't think we have a title for yet, and that is from Throne of Glass. I didn't want to bring down the whole series because I have Lunar Chronicles stacked on top of two of the bigger books, so I just grabbed this one. But I'm so excited. I haven't read Queen of Shadows yet, even though that came out quite some time ago, and it's because when I get the next book in a series, I like to reread the series so I have everything kind of fresh in my mind. I'm currently reading The Rose Society by Marie Lu, and it's been quite some time since I read The Young Elite, so I don't remember everything, and I'm having trouble trying to put pieces together because I've read a lot in between them. So that is why I like to reread a series before I get to a book that I haven't read. I did that with the Lunar Chronicles when I got to Winter and Thirst. So hopefully I will be doing that in 2016, but I am really excited for the 5th book. Maybe I'll just wait for that to come out and then I'll read the whole series again so I don't have to wait another year to read the series. But I don't know. I am really excited for it. Then my number 1 book, my top book, my main squeeze book for 2016. Did you guess it? It is Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. It is the first book in a new series by Alexandra Bracken, and it's a time travel novel about a girl who plays classical instruments. I want to say it's the cello that she plays in the beginning, but it might be violin. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've read parts of it because I'm a part of her newsletter, so I got to read some of it before even the arc came out, I believe. So it follows her on a journey through time, pretty much. And it's just awesome, and I'm so excited for it. Alexandra Bracken is fantastic. I have loved every book of hers that I have read so far. Granted, I've only read The Darkest Minds and Brightly Woven, but she's fantastic. I love her work. I have gotten to read part of Passenger. Granted, it's probably gone through a lot of changes since I read it because it wasn't the published version. So I'm excited to see what has changed, if anything that I've read has changed, which I believe she said it did. And it's already pre-ordered. I already have the bonus that you get for pre-ordering it. It comes out January, so within the next few days it should be released and being sent to me. So I am so excited for Passenger. It is my most anticipated read of 2016. And that is all I have to say. I really hope you guys enjoyed my Happy New Year's hat tiara thing. And I will see you all next time. I might do a video tomorrow, which will be my book resolutions for 2016, but I don't know for sure if I'm going to, because I have work, and I don't know when I'm going to get home after work, so I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm going to try my best to do the January top 5 Wednesdays. I'm also going to try to, on Tumblr, post more book photos, hopefully of a better quality, because I'm really actually kind of struggling with coming up with ideas all the time, but hopefully I will get there. And I will see you guys then. I love you all. Have a wonderful new year, and I really hope 2016 is better for you. I know a lot of people seem to not have a very good year this year. So I'm hoping that 2016 for you all and myself will be a better year, full of bright opportunities, and I will see you guys in 2016.